wrote Don't Leave Me Now pretty much right after I moved to Los Angeles and I almost got hit by a car. So it's very much inspired by the city and the streets and walking around and what that experience is like. And Winston Case, who directed the video, had this idea of doing really long perspective shots of me running up and down the hills in the neighborhood on the streets. When I started writing Love Hallucination, I had just moved to LA, so I think that living in a city built on confidence and bravado really helped me to find this artistic voice that I didn't really know existed within me. I'm from a place that's kind of the opposite of Los Angeles. I'm gonna open up my Ableton session for Don't Leave Me Now, which is the first single off my new album, Love Hallucination. So this track, for me, it's pretty simple. It doesn't have that many parts. It's really all about the layers on this song. So I started out with this really simple drum loop that I made, I think, on my TR-8, possibly on my 707. Like, the drum loop was fine, but I knew it needed something else to add more texture and a bit more interest. So I was actually doing a vocal take, and I record vocals in my closet. And so when I was walking back to stop the take, it picked up this sound of like the closet door rolling, and it just reminded me of like a pinball. So I'm just gonna play that for you right now. So yeah, I just added some effects to the sound of the closet door rolling. I thought it made for a really nice texture on the drums and just made it a bit more interesting. See, I really like that sound. Those sorts of intimate sounds that are like happening in my room or in my studio, being able to blend those into the track helps me to connect with the music and like makes it joyful for me. So another thing I spent a lot of time on is layering the bass sounds for this song. So I'm just gonna... And yeah, the bass is really big on this one, but I have so many bass tracks for this song. I went a little overboard layering everything. So I started out with this really big bass I called like a big Doofy Bass, which I thought was cool, but it definitely needed some more layers. So I did a bunch of sounds with my Moog siren, and then I added my Novation as well. And then a big sub on the bottom. So all together they sound. And then like those higher sounds are just my siren at a different octave, just getting more of like the resonant, like really high, high frequency stuff to make a nice layer with like all the sub frequencies. And as far as effects processing goes, I think I just used like my favorite like waves delay, like an H delay, to give it that sound, and just played around with the feedback and the mix while I was printing the audio. I took the same approach to the synthesizers that I did with the bass, where I ended up layering a lot of different frequencies to get the sound that I was looking for. And I also processed a lot of my Juno 106 through software I really like called Airy, which is a really powerful sampler. Basically, it lets you like sculpt a sample as though you were using Photoshop. The breakdown of this song, I wanted it to sound really epic. So I layered this sampler I have called Tal, which is like a Juno emulator, with my real Juno, and I thought it actually sounded pretty good. I was feeling a little bit weird about mixing the Juno emulator with the real Juno, but I think it worked. It worked great. Recording vocals has not always been fun for me, and since I know how to do it myself, it has become easier, but I tend to sing really quietly, which I've had a lot of people, like engineers, complain about, which is, I get it. I get why it's difficult to record a quiet singer, but I guess what I'm getting at is that I think these vocals are very intimate, but it's like a big dance song. So I was thinking like, how do I connect those two things? I layer a lot of vocal effects to give my voice texture. I love using microshift, which is made by Sound Toys, to like give my voice a little bit more depth. Both the delays with the microshift, and then I have some little Ultra Boy in here too, which adds this kind of like squeaky texture that I really like the sound of. But I think the thing that helped add more excitement to the vocal were the samples that I used throughout the song. Two, three, four. But I loved this little go, go, go part. When I was recording it, they kind of reminded me of like cheerleaders or something. When I was making my new album, Love Hallucination, I was also working on DJ kicks for K7 Records, so I was listening to a ton of dance music, and then at the same time I was also listening to a lot of synth pop, so I was listening to a lot of ballads at the same time. So I think of Love Hallucination as like those two worlds coming together. I think that place does have a big influence on sound. I mean, I've always struggled with that connection because I've never lived in a place that was in the epicenter. Like, I've never been in the zeitgeist. I've always been in Hamilton. It's definitely the viewpoint of the outsider looking in.